everyone, welcome back to Candid Football Conversations. I'm Rahul from SportsKhabri and I've got with me Arnav Chaudhary from Arun Foot. We're here today to discuss Hyderabad FC. Of course, there's been a lot of chatter around the club and how long it'll sort of exist in the near future. Sort of worrying times, Arnava, for Hyderabad FC. Firstly, let's start from the beginning. Hyderabad, of course, has been in the ISL for a while now. They've contributed majorly to some of the better seasons we've seen in the ISL. They've played some good football in the past. How do you feel seeing a club of this stature sort of scraping through at the moment?
It's very, very sad, Rahul, that a club like Hyderabad FC, which of course took over from Pune City 5 years ago, that they're in the situation they are in. Because we're talking about, of course, Hyderabad FC as a football club on one side. We're talking about also about Hyderabad as a place where football has been big, where football has been huge, which has contributed hugely to Indian football. So if I take all of those aspects in, it's a very, very tragic story that is unfolding. I mean, if you think about it, when they started off, they weren't too good. And at some stage, Manolo Marquez comes in and builds a championship team. I mean, they are one of the champions of the ISL. But these problems have been there for a while. So this is not something which is sort of cropped up yesterday and it's today being exposed. No, this has been there for quite a while. They've been trying to get in investors. Varun Tipu Ranini has been one of the original investors into the club, somewhat formally attached to Chennai FC. So, and he and his people have been trying to get in the investment to run the club. They've got Rana Daggubati, who's a big television star down south, as well involved in the club, but they've not actually been able to get that investment in that they need to run the club. And that's the tragedy really of what has happened. I think Manolo being there, the players being committed, even without payment of salaries for months. They were fighting for the title last season. One has to give them a lot of credit. But this club has been sadly crumbling and now is sort of in a situation of a point of no return. Either investments come in or maybe Hyderabad does not even finish the season. That's a real danger at the moment.
Arnav, how sort of immediate is the need for funds? Is it something that has to be done in the sort of next month or so? Do you see Hyderabad finishing the season? What does it look like?
I think if the news of the last 2 days are any indicators of what's happening at the club, you have the situation is that they played an away match in Jamshedpur. The hotel bills were not paid. This is something unheard of in the days of the ISL. This has happened in the past in the I-League, in the NFL, and in other competition as well. But for the ISL, this is something which is unusual, because one thing that the ISL clubs have done is to try and ensure payment of service providers, besides, of course, paying their own players, coaches, staff. So that's one situation. People are leaving. Some of the foreigners have left. Jonathan Moya is the latest foreigner to have left. You have Conor Nestor, who announced on his formerly Twitter, now called X platform, that he has left the club. This is the goalkeeping coach has left the club. The Indian players have put in letters now saying that I'm not getting my salary. Give me that okay to go and leave the club for free. So the player is in the situation. You have a FIFA ban on top of it. The salaries of Bartok Beche and other players from previous seasons have not been paid. You are in a very, very difficult scenario to try and sort of keep the system going and play, first of all, the Super Cup, and then also play the remainder of the ISL. FSDL, as organizers of the league, have helped the club in this difficult situation on a number of occasions. The question is, how much more can you help them? Because, if to create a comparison, Hyderabad is like the Titanic. You've hit the iceberg and you're already sinking. The question is, can you plug the holes and keep the boat afloat, or does it sink? And at the moment, it's sinking, and it's sinking fast. That's the danger.
But what are the solutions? Now, can they look at? Is there a potential of another club sort of coming over and taking over, or another institution coming and taking over the club? Is that a possibility given the situation right now?
I think there are two issues over here. One is, of course, the club is looking for immediate investment. But now, anyone who potentially would invest into a football club, and it's not just a matter of Indian football, but globally as well, they will look at the numbers. And whoever's would potentially put in money into Hyderabad FC has to first of all take care of the backlog. And that backlog is financially is quite substantial. That's the first concern. The second is football clubs in India don't make money. If I take over XYZ club, or if you, for example, even some of you or many of you will have watched Welcome to Wrexham, where, two Hollywood stars, two television stars take over a club in Northern Wales. The club has assets, the club has income. So therefore, you can somehow recover that money. You can't do that in an Indian context at this stage. That is the real problem that there is. And looking at other entities, there's been some rumor that potentially Srinidhi Deccan, who are also based in Hyderabad, potentially could take over Hyderabad FC. I have not been able to confirm this piece of information or news, or maybe rumor on social media. Srinidhi Deccan are trying to build something. They have better infrastructure than most ISL teams. That's also reality. I think they'll wait and try and get promotion into the ISL. So therefore, a lot of things happening in the background. I think the owners are trying everything that they can, but they need cash infusion, and that rather yesterday than today. And that's the problem at the moment.
Fair enough, Arnav. But when you look back at Hyderabad, the legacy of the club, sort of, if things do end up not going well, what would you sort of remember? What are the sort of memories that this club leaves with you?
See, this would be the third team in the era of the Indian Super League to forcefully shut shop. You had earlier club Pune City forced to shut shop because of financial irregularities in other parts of the business of the owners. You had Delhi Dynamos shutting shop to be reincarnated as Odisha FC. And Hyderabad FC would be the third team to sort of end their living cycle as a football club in the ISL. That would be very sad, because Hyderabad is one of those teams who have actually liked the way they played football. Even this season, they've played some good football. The results haven't gone their way. And you also realize that even last season, when set players or coaches were not getting the money on time or not getting money at all, and then it was coming much later, that as long as you're successful, you can coat over these things, right? You keep on playing, you try everything. That's not the case this season. This season, you've been exposed. You are bottom of the table. You are out of the race to get into the top six. Players want to leave, and again, some of the foreigners with little to no attachment have already left. Now the question is, will the Indian players stay? You have current national team player, a first 11 player, Nikhil Pujari in the squad. You have Chinglasana Singh, one of our best defenders. You have Sahil Tobora, you have Hitesh Sharma, you have Mohammad Yasir. You have a lot of players in there. You have talented players like Gurmeet Singh, Mark Zoe. It's difficult. It's difficult, and I think every boy who has an attachment to the club will most probably not want to go, and they have to look at their careers. And it's a difficult one. I mean, Hyderabad might be in a situation also with the FIFA ban in place of not being allowed to sign players. Do you have enough players to actually put a squad together for the remainder of the season? So things don't look good at the moment. I don't know if there's a guardian angel somewhere who's going to give them the money to try and survive. But otherwise, things looks very, very difficult and very, very tough.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I mean, the hope is that, Hyderabad somehow figure this thing out and get themselves out of hot waters. But if it doesn't, I think there are things that we will look back on Hyderabad and fondly remember their performances last year and a few seasons. So, yeah, thanks, Anwar, for that short chat. Everybody watching, please do like and share these videos. Subscribe to the channel, SportsKhabri and Arun Foot. And yeah, we'll be back with more. Thanks, Anwar.
Thanks, Rahul. Bye, everyone.